Welcome to Rainbow Soul Astrology, a weekly podcast presented by Brighthawk and Hollis Taylor. Together, we lay out the weekly astrology in an accessible, inclusive, candid, and insightful way and what it means for you. Hollis is amazing. They're a seasoned astrologer and psychic medium. I'm a musician, artist, and storyteller. We love to make the cosmos relatable, which is why we begin by tuning in with a guided meditation, helping all of us ground and center and feel the planetary energies of the week more deeply. Then we dive into this week's astrological forecast, answer your questions, and then look at the horoscopes for all the signs for the week. Whether you're brand new to astrology or you've been following the stars for years, welcome to the conversation. Welcome to Rainbow Soul Astrology. Let's get centered, take a breath, and explore what the universe has in store for us.
Welcome everyone to Rainbow Soul Astrology Forecast. I'm Hollis Taylor. I'm one of your astrologers here today. And this is for the week of June 30th to July 5th. And, we'll be doing a broadcast. And this is...
Hi there, I'm Brighthawk. Good to be with you. You can always learn more about me, my music, stories, artwork at brighthawkproductions.com.
So let's first give you a minute. Let's give you a minute to just kind of ground and center. And I want to
adjust the sound at all.
Maybe we'll take a look. It sometimes readjusts itself, maybe because we do other lives. Doesn't seem to be cutting out, right? You guys got it clear? There we go. Hopefully everyone can hear music. Hopefully you can hear it too, Zoe. Great. All right. Just let us know if you can't hear the music quite right, because I can make some minor adjustments. Welcome, Patty. Hey, Patty. Good to see you. Melissa and Tracy. Hi, Sarah Smile. Everybody's checking in. Great to have you with us, because this week's astrology is very intense. Well, the upcoming astrology. It's got a lot going on, okay? So let's take a few moments to ground and get focused on this week's forecast. And I want you to imagine yourself completely relaxed. Try to take in a deep breath and blow out until there is nothing else. Just take a deep breath. And as you get centered in your body, imagine yourself laid back on a beautiful warm evening, lying on the ground. With a beautiful blanket underneath of you in complete comfort and peace. And as you're staring up at the beautiful stars above you, the sky full of stars, and the moon filling up the sky with such beauty, leaving you in awe of the wonders of the universe. From the depths of the blackness of the sky that you can see comes a planet that seems to be turning sideways in this odd way. As it zooms into your view, you can see that it's turning sideways. This is the planet we call Uranus. As it slowly but steady turns itself around and around, in its unusual fashion. This is the planet of revolutionize, progress, sudden surprises, accidents, things that seem to come out of nowhere. The queerest planet of them all. Truly progress. And unique. This planet, wherever it is in your chart, it indicates your weird spot. Your life path and your progress as you go forward. You can hear Uranus in the sky saying, "No, it's that way." Leading you to your life path. Even in its sporadic energy, it leads you and puts you directly on the path you belong. Reassuring you that surprises, sudden events are often fated and necessary. And this ruler of Aquarius holds you gently but firmly on your path. As you take a deep breath, invite you to come back in this moment, in the here and now. Here at Rainbow Soul Astrology, where we look to the stars for guidance, to be present in our here and now, to navigate good times and hard times. And to tap into the wisdom of the universe. Welcome to Rainbow Soul. Wiggle your toes and your fingers and open your eyes and bring yourself present in the here and now. We're so glad you're here. Well done, Bright Hawk. That's got to be your Uranus beat.
That is very Uranian. I realized. Just let that Uranian energy take over, and there you go.
No doubt you'll find progress.
There we go.
Right?
Yeah.
Welcome,
Uranus is
everyone.
big in the sky this week.
Hi, Stacy. And Sarah and Melissa both said that the music was beautiful, Bright Hawk.
Thank
so
you
beautiful.
so much. Totally appreciate that.
And hope you're enjoying it over there in Discord, Zoe. Keep in mind, we always have a Discord channel that sometimes I might pop on to do little astrology discussions. I do answer astrology questions over there. So if that's your thing, be sure to visit our Discord channel. Okay? I put the link in the chat. Tracy said, great job, Bright Hawk.
Oh, thanks.
All right, everyone. Well, this week, oh boy, we're going to have an interesting week. I think that it will be a blessing, though. The good news is that Uranus is traveling with Venus. I think that is the good news.
I'm hoping that it's the Venus that is we can make things lovely and right and beautiful, and not the bitch, I'm going to cut your head off, Venus.
Well, yeah, and the good news is that...
because Venus could be either one. She can be a warrior. Apparently I got a thumbs up for that. Or she can, of course we know Venus the lover. Venus the lover of beautiful things and the lover of a good life and making things work and being a good what's the word I'm looking for? Collaborator?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Venus is about relationships of all kinds. Yeah.
Right, of course. So, yeah, all kinds, not just lovers.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, so we have a big week. We should get into the chart so you can understand what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be easier to see if we share the charts.
Mm-hmm.
So last week, if you were with us, you know that we talked a lot about big void of course moons, like whole days of the moon being void, meaning I know for me this last week, it's a challenge. It's sometimes it's not, just like, oh, okay, great to take a break. But sometimes when it's going all day and I feel like I have Mars on my ascendant, so I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. I have time. What should I be doing? Man, boy, I just wasted the last 2 hours. What should I be doing?
Right.
What am I doing? I'm not doing a whole lot right now, And so that purposeful, productive, let's get it done kind of vibe and energy. I'll be curious, how was the last week for you? Did you find that you had some real gaps in your ability to get stuff done? And
yeah, I felt like it was
or was it easy? Was it easy or was it hard? Frankly, I had a hard week. And there were moments of easy, but there were moments of, why is this so stinking hard right now?
Mm-hmm.
This is just hard. And so that's what I'm curious if your experience was anything like that. So this week we are also going to have some really big void of course moons. So I think yesterday was one of those days where it was void most of the day.
Yeah, I think so, but hold on, I don't think you don't have that on the
No, it
forecast
was
here.
last week.
Yeah.
Anyway, um, uh, so this week you'll see it. So the other thing you're going to see that kind of sets up all week and it sort of gets closer to perfection at the end of the week is this minor grand trine. What does that mean? Well, a minor grand trine is a trine plus 2 sextiles. So instead of a giant grand trine where all of them are in the same the same element,
Mm-hmm.
a minor grand trine won't have them all in the same element. It'll be a little more mixed.
Mm-hmm.
So, and their trines are blessed energy. Sextiles are good things. You might have to do a little bit of work. Um, and big blessings, usually. Like, you don't even know that you're being blessed. It's so good. It's just flows, you know. So that's sometimes what happens. So hopefully, okay, so Melissa said they had a hard week. That's me every day.
Melissa, did you have a Leo? Do you have a Leo placement? Is there something in Leo? Was Mercury or Cancer in late degree Cancer? Because Mercury did move, and I noticed that Leo can be kind of like, "Rawr!" And I was like, oh, okay. Um, so totally not Libra at all.
Could you show? Could you go back to the big slide so I can see?
Just a moment.
So
I will in just a moment. I'm working on it. I kind of did it a little bit backwards, so just okay. All right.
All right.
So, I don't know why it's saying that. So that's the problem. It's not sharing the same thing. I'm just having a little technical difficulties because Mercury's gonna go retrograde. That's why, and this is what happens.
Yeah, I think that'll happen when Mercury gets to 15 degrees Leo. But we were talking, I'll do a little lesson while you work on trying to get the slides up. So one of the things that happens is that when planets change signs, like at the beginning of last week, Mercury came into Leo, and that's what Hollis was just saying about, we know that that when a planet is at the beginning of a sign or at the end of a sign, that's when it's strongest. That's when you feel it the most, like. So, and sometimes you might hear a term when it's at 29 degrees that's an anaretic degree. It's the last degree of the sign. That's the other time when it's really potent. So right now, the reason why we're talking a lot about Uranus and Venus this week is because Uranus and Venus are traveling together. They're both at the anaretic last degrees of Taurus before they go into Gemini. Venus will go, of course, much faster. Oh my goodness, so much faster. Venus will be in there by Wednesday, I think, or Wednesday or Thursday.
But
and then Uranus will actually happen a week from today at 2 a.m. on Monday.
Yeah, but I was noticing that they're actually kind of together for quite a while, this travel.
Yeah,
they
considering
do
how fast one is and how slow the other is, it's amazing that they're together as long as they are, which is most of this week and next week. Yeah, so you can see the minor grand trine with Pluto sextiling Saturn and Neptune, and that's sextiling Neptune, Uranus and Venus. So Saturn and Neptune have been traveling together for the month and will continue to at that first and second degree of Aries. Again, really, really potent, intense placement.
They're even going to go backwards together, you guys.
It's kind of unbelievable. This is why people are talking about 2025 and all the different reasons. There are markers in it that say revolution, revolution, change, 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 change. The world will not be the same after this.
No.
Because the last time we saw, and when Uranus goes into Gemini, it's so intense when you hear the stories, because of when it was discovered. It was right exactly at the time of the American Revolution and the French Revolution, and then the next time was World War II. You're just like, oh my God. What's gonna happen as Uranus goes into Gemini?
And it sounded like
the only thing you can say about Uranus and Gemini, and of course we know Uranus is the planet of transformation, like upset the apple cart, walks into the room and nothing is the same. Like everything gets messed up.
That's pretty much happens anytime I go anyplace. Yep. I'm a Uranian. I have Uranus on my ascendant. If you know any weirdos, they probably have Uranus on their ascendant. It's funny because I could say to an astrologer, I have Uranus on my ascendant, and they'll be like, so do you change everything you touch? And I'm like, pretty much. And it's not intentional. It's not like, because frankly, I have a Libra moon. So if you have a strong Uranus placement, a lot of Uranus on their ascendant people are non-binary. It's not because we go out in the world and go, how can we change things? How can we stir shit up? That's not what's happening. What actually happens, typically, for me anyway, is that I look at things and I'm like, oh, you know what's missing? Or, you know what's wrong with this? And then I want to fix it or provide the answer to the issue that I clearly see. And most people will admit exists. So it's just a Uranus trait to come in and make, and it's not necessarily just make things better, but Uranus tends to kind of upset the apple cart to maybe make things more inclusive. That's usually actually the story, because Uranus rules the zodiac sign of Aquarius, and Aquarius is very much about the collective. It is very much about being inclusive and having all people. That's why I usually refer to Uranus as the queer planet. Now, it will be in Gemini next week, and it will be moving back and forth between Taurus and Gemini. And what I think is interesting about the movement of moving out of Taurus, just on a really big picture, just for Uranus in itself, is that Taurus is the most conservative sign there is. And Uranus, in my world, often represents queer people. And as we can see, conservatives and queers are kind of not having a very good time with each other. And, because queers are progressive and tend to want to go forward, and the conservatives want to do it the way we've always done it. There's always only been two genders, didn't you know? And people with Uranus and LGBTQ people are saying, nah, that's not really true. And it isn't really true. Uranus has always been there. Before people were called homosexuals, before we gave the scientific name of homosexual, we used to, medical astrologers would call them Uranians. Because there was often a strong Uranus placement in queer people's charts, particularly the weird ones, people that, drag queens and things like that, okay? So, and now, a lot of times Uranus does play a role, but there are other ways to find queerness in a chart as well. Okay? But what I'm saying about is that Uranus moving from the most conservative sign there is, which is Taurus, to Gemini, which is like, it actually, and I kind of agree with another astrologer, and she was saying that she thought that it was a rather genderless sign, and I agree. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is rather genderless. It is not masculine nor feminine. It is both, maybe, or neither, but it is more of a non-binary vibe. So if you feel like we're in a gender revolution and non-binary queer people are in a real bind, Uranus is coming in to mess up the tables. Uranus is going to come in and go, nope, like that. And it's just going to toss the tables. And I assure you that LGBTQ people will be making advancements, and there will be things that we will have to fight for, but Uranus will always have your back. And that's the good news. Okay? So, but that Uranus is going to be there for 8 years, so it will probably take us 8 years to get it done. Okay? So, it's just now.
And nothing will look the same. In 7 years, it will be so. We don't even know. Talk about a we don't even know what we don't know kind of moment.
And the other interesting thing about that I should also mention that as you start to dive deep into this Uranus transit for the next 2 weeks, is that Uranus is in Taurus, and Taurus typically rules things like investments and money investments, like stocks, like even it would even probably not so much Bitcoin, only because Bitcoin is so new, okay, and it's not very conservative. But I assure you, bonds and stocks and trusts and all of that stuff would fit into the Taurus department. But what's about to happen is Uranus is about to go into Gemini, and Gemini represents currency and money. So I assure you, I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin have some major outrageous, major uplifting things that totally blows their mind. Okay. And it's just going to change the way we have ever seen currency done. And that's what cryptocurrency is. It will change the way we've always done currency and the way we have money. So if you're a person that's wondering, I'm going to say, I mean, it could take 8 years for Bitcoin to really come into its power, but I'm assuming that cryptocurrency, since that's the main currency that's being presented right now, is probably going to go through some revolutions and be revolutionized by this Uranus transit. So there's a couple of sneak peeks. I'll probably include some other things next week, but since the reason I'm telling you this, and the reason why it's so important, is because both of those 2 points about Uranus, Taurus, and Gemini are very important to 2 very important subjects, which would be love and money, relationships and money. Okay? So absolutely relationships, because Venus rules relationships. But I really think it's going to be a positive surprise. This week, I really feel like it's going to be positive. I have a hard time believing that it will be hard, mostly because Venus is a benefit planet.
In their rulership, remember, Venus rules Taurus. So even though they're at the last degree, they're still very, very potent at 29 degrees.
And remember what Bright Hawk said earlier, which is that anytime any planet moves out of a sign into another sign, it tends to kind of leave something behind, okay? And it brings in something new as well, okay? So it could be that, maybe some investments do really well. Maybe the stock gets better. But also, Bitcoin goes flying up as well. And they do tend to follow a similar trend. So that's very possible, okay? So that's what I'm saying. The fact that Venus and Uranus are together and they're traveling together through these 2 transits between Taurus and Gemini, I feel like there's probably going to be some major surprises around gender, around relationships, and around money. Okay? And I feel like those things are going to really be coming up. So it looks like the transit kind of is getting started today, Bright Hawk, I see in your thing here. And we do have this kite that forms tomorrow on Tuesday. And now you can kind of see the kite in the chart, right? I don't know if you guys can actually see it, but maybe you can see it in the chart. You can kind of see the kite. It kind of literally looks like a kite. And you can kind of see it there, kind of has blue lines, right? Okay. And and it kind of looks, it's frozen, somebody said. Uh-oh. Did it stop being frozen? Of course, because Mercury is going into a shadow, we're going to have all kinds of things. Keeps freezing up. Huh. Okay. All right. Can you guys see Tuesday, July 1st now? Hopefully you guys can see Tuesday, July 1st. I don't know why that would be happening. Yeah. It stopped. Well, that sucks. Okay. I'm not really sure what to do there. Yes. Tracy says yes. Okay. So I guess now maybe it was just a little lagging or something like that, but we got July 1st now, the chart for July 1st. Great. Okay. So as we look at the chart for July 1st, we can see there's a kite in the sky, and you can see that there's like a big red line in the middle of it. So those blue lines are blessings. Those are things that are going to come in good. But I can see that that Saturn and Neptune are down there in Aries, and they're preparing to go retrograde next week.
Yeah.
But they're opposite the moon.
That's right. So, wondering how you feel about feeling about things. The moon is in Libra, and of course, opposite Saturn and Neptune in Aries, which, those are two very, very different vibes. Remember, Aries associated with Mars, the god of war. Libra, think exactly the opposite. Hates conflict and opposition. Way more likely to be even codependent. They're real helpers. They're real, like, perfect party hosts. Make sure everybody's having a good time. But they can be a little self-sacrificing, Libra. The difference between Libra and Aries there. So that's sort of the line of the kite. And so balancing, when we look at Saturn, we think of father, authority, structure, institutions. When we think of Neptune, we think of dreams and visions. So it's really interesting, the combination of flavors and with these conjunctions. So you have Saturn and Neptune traveling together, and I just described that. You have Venus and Uranus traveling together. We've been talking about that. You have the Sun and Jupiter traveling together, and they're a separating conjunction. They had their perfection last week. The Moon and the Mars were recently together. Then, of course, the Moon passed over the North Node, and now it's opposite what we've been talking about. So these energies are like conversations, like people walking arm in arm going, okay, so, strategizing and having conversations around the sky. And it's not independent players. It's these combinations that I'm finding so interesting.
I was looking at that Grand Trine and listening to you, Bright Hawk, and I was thinking about that Saturn and Neptune, which we know they're down in Aries. You can kind of see them. They look like a little red H and a little like blue sort of fork, right? Okay, and it's down in a red sign that stands for Aries. And, they're at 1 and 2 degrees. And what's about to happen in the next couple of weeks is first Neptune will turn around and go backwards, and then Saturn will. And since they're part of that kite there across from the moon, and the moon's in Libra, that makes me think about relationships, particularly world relationships. There might be an illusion that everything's okay with relationships or seems to be coming together. That could fall apart later this year, but you just have to be in the moment somehow. So what I would suggest is, because Mercury's in retrograde right now, I wouldn't make any commitments until after August 12th.
Mercury is not retrograde yet. It's in its
But it's about to be.
Pre-shadow period.
It's in its pre-shadow period, and that will begin
15 degrees Leo.
In 15 degrees Leo, but it's not there yet. So it will go until August 12th. I wouldn't make any commitments between now and August 12th, okay? And I would, or try not to if you can, especially with relationships, because of that conversation, because Aries is about being independent and being on your own, and Libra is about collaboration. And that's what the Libra moon is about. It's always about collaboration. And that kite, I just feel like, you know, our relationships, and including the government relationships, could look like we're doing really well and everything's okay. But I would not make that assumption. So, just
Absolutely
saying,
not.
just saying, like, if you have anything going on around relationships, I would just go slow, okay? Just go slow. And with the void of course moon, 2:45 in the afternoon on Tuesday until 9 o'clock. If anyone has like works evenings or whatever, that's a good night to volunteer. It'll be a Tuesday night. Okay.
Right. So the moon will be moving out of an earth sign into an air sign. And of course, the nice thing is with that, when the moon is in Libra, it answers to Venus and it's in a trine.
Mm-hmm.
And a trine is a blessing. So they're having a very lovely conversation. But it could be, things could really change because Venus is traveling with Uranus. Who knows how it's going to change?
Right. So something's probably getting brewed up, as
Right.
I would say. It's like something's brewing in the background.
Yeah.
And on Wednesday with so on Wednesday that kite kind of falls away, but we still have the minor trine with Venus and Uranus together, and they're still traveling together. And I feel like Wednesday will be a kind of a quieter day, especially with the void, of course, starts that night and goes till the next morning.
All through.
Oh, all through the 7/3.
Do you see that?
Oh, now I see that.
2nd,
Yeah.
It starts on July the 2nd. Wednesday night, a void of course moon begins at 7:30, and it does not finish until Friday morning. That means the 3rd all day is a void moon. So don't schedule yourself in a heavy-duty way because you will be disappointed with, why can't I not get my mojo together? You know, at least that's what I was feeling like. I don't want to say we all feel it the same way, but sometimes Hollis feels the void moons in a wet blanket kind of way. Could you go back so I can see what sign it's moving into? What element from Libra into Scorpio?
Mm-hmm. See, it's void all day. Yep.
No, it's in Libra.
Yeah, it's moving into Scorpio, though. This is at 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah, moving into Scorpio.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So out of an air element into a water element.
The thing about that I'm thinking about right away, like, so I'm pretty sure the 3rd's going to be a pretty chill day for you. But let me mention this. July the 4th is a huge protest.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's a protest that the Women's March, yeah, they're announcing now. You know, be a true patriot and protest on Friday the 4th. And I'm thinking at 9:30 in the morning, oh my gosh, after that long of a void moon, sometimes I notice when void moons are long or particularly very chill, when they come out, it's sort of like, woo, here comes the storm, right? It's like someone was just holding back the storm and it built up. So July the 4th could be a very surprising day. And considering that Venus enters Gemini that day, and moves away from Uranus in Taurus, only briefly because Uranus will be following it. I just would be braced for any surprises. And if you plan to go to that protest, I appreciate you protesting for us. Totally appreciate it. But I'm just gonna say, that protest could be a little on the intense side. It will probably be very good as far as protests go. Like, it will, oh, it stopped. No sound either. Uh-oh. Let me take a look here. Can you hear me now? Can you still hear me? Or is it just frozen?
Oh. Happen all the time.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me now?
No sound either. It stopped. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I'm just gonna... Oops, let me... Okay. Mike? Alright. Can you guys hear me now? Sounds like, this side is working.
Okay.
Discord is working.
Sorry about that.
Hey, can you guys hear me on YouTube? Is working fine, says Ed. Okay, thanks, Ed.
Well, thanks, Ed.
We appreciate that.
That's very nice. Okay. The world
I don't know if
out there. Sometimes you don't know if you're still connected or not.
It's a Facebook thing.
Yeah. So 4th of July, you guys, there's a lot going on. You might just feel a few things.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if something happens with relationships. Venus and Gemini is just about the twins. It's about, there could be some alignments. Actually, you could experience some surprise alignments, some things that surprise you where you're like, oh, okay. And maybe even some improvements, because Gemini generally has the energy of wanting to collaborate with somebody, and Geminis are pretty good with relationships, actually.
Yeah, they're great networkers. That's like one of the top 3 words in their lexicon is they're great conversationalists and hosts and networkers and chatty, and they're air, so they're constantly good at putting people together. Oh, you should meet so and so. This person's so great. You should know this one. And all. They're fabulous that way.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I wonder what stream that was. What stream was that, Alyssa? I don't know what stream you're on chatting on now. I can't tell the difference, like if you're on one page versus the other page. Okay, it seems like YouTube is working correctly. Okay. So just be aware that that there could be some surprises around money and relationships. But the one way I think that is best to sort of navigate Uranus transits of any kind is to always remember that while Uranus might kick the playing board over in a way that maybe you don't always like, especially if you've been resisting change, Tauruses, if you've been resisting change, the change might just come without asking for it. It might just kind of happen. And
hopefully it's the kind of change that you can say however many years from now, man, I was so pissed when that happened, but that was exactly what needed to happen. I would not have made that change if da-da-da-da-da hadn't happened. So that's what I often try to remind myself about Uranus. I have a worldview that I believe we don't suffer for no reason. When it's difficult, we're supposed to learn. We're supposed to ask, what can I learn? How can I do better? What's the important thing that's trying to emerge from this moment? And when we go with that, when we're willing to get stretched, we usually get stronger in the process. Hopefully.
Yeah, and one of the things that I would also say about 4th of July is that Neptune goes retrograde.
I know, I was going to say, can we talk about when Neptune goes retrograde? Remember, Neptune is dreamy and visions, but when it goes retrograde, it can be delusional, it can be warped. It can
also reveal truths, which I think is what we're going to see.
Yeah, I was going to say it's going to, and it's, anytime retrograde is all about review. What needs to get reviewed.
Mm-hmm. And with Neptune retrograde in Aries at 2 degrees, it's going to be in a sextile to that Venus traveling in Gemini. So I feel like that's going to bring some positive energy to that, at least for people that are carrying the light. I'm not going to say that everyone's going to be thrilled when Neptune goes retrograde, because I really do think it's going to reveal something on the 4th of July.
Wow.
I think we're gonna have a big surprise on the 4th of July. I don't know exactly what it could be. There's lots of scary things it could be. There's also lots of great things it could be. But I think either way, Uranus is trying to help you get on path. It's trying to help the United States get on path. It's trying to help the world get on path. It's trying to help you get on path. Me, her, everybody. So just whatever changes it's trying to push you in, just accept that change. Try to come to acceptance as fast as possible.
And I like to say, and it's in my book, The Dancing Hippo, I'm willing to be delightfully surprised by how sweet this life can be. Sometimes you get what you expect. So instead of walking around in fear and anticipating the worst, what if?
Mm-hmm.
What if we tried I'm willing to be delightfully surprised and see what happens?
Yeah. And so Chelsea's a Taurus moon and a Taurus rising.
Oh my God. You are failing it, I'm sure.
Chelsea, I'm sure you're going to feel this. Okay. Being a Taurus, having a Taurus placement, having double Taurus placement, you're probably definitely going to feel this. But it's definitely going to be changes that hopefully Uranus has prepared you for and you've listened to. So good job as a Taurus. That means you're ready for this. Just be aware when things shake up a little bit. Just keep going. Don't fall into the hole the earthquake made. Okay?
I love
over.
That you're welcoming it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you're welcoming
it. Yep,
That's,
exactly.
That's the ticket.
I think that's the trick.
That's
the trick
the key,
is being open to wherever Uranus is going to lead us.
Yeah.
Now, Saturday and Sunday, we have a lot of really positive energy. Although I do see that the void of course moon is there 1:30 in the afternoon until Sunday. So that's Saturday afternoon until Sunday 10 p.m. That's mountain time.
Yeah. Again.
Wow.
It's
like almost a whole day.
Like all week. Like every other day.
Except for the 4th of July.
It comes out in the morning. And I've been trying to notice this. We've been tracking the void of course moons and really paying attention for the last several years after we took Celeste's class. I don't remember her last name, but she's a really great astrologer. And for about 2 years. And I agree with you. When it's a substantial void, like 24 hours or even 12 or 16 hours, that when it does come out, you really kind of feel it. It goes, you're like, whoa, okay, the moon is no longer void. Did you just feel all the energy just got, like the dials got turned up? It's kind of wild. So that's why we talk about them, because like I said, if you're new to listening, it's the void, it's the space in between when the moon is changing signs. And the longer the void is, the less it's basically the moon is at its weakest. It has no Ptolemaic aspects, is what the word is in astrology, which means that space is going to be like, wow, slow down, take some time off, don't overschedule yourself, all those kind of things. And we've talked a lot about self-care, but it's one thing when it's a void for a couple of hours, another thing when it's void for like 36 hours, and you're like, I can't take that much time off, And so it's like learning how to just sort of, okay, there might not be a lot of get up and go and a little oomph here. We better just, use the energy wisely, right? So
I did notice in the when the void ends on 4th of July, that moon will be in Scorpio,
right?
Which also speaks to the intensity of
I wanted to talk about
the protest.
Yeah.
So the protest could be quite intense, or when you come out, your life could be very intense in regards to what was said or what should be said or what needs to be said. particularly because the moon will be in a square to Mercury.
Yeah.
So, the 4th of July could be very much about what is said. And then plus the moon is answering to Pluto, which is down there in Aquarius, speaking to the United States for change, asking us to transform and change our government. We're working on it. And the moon is square Pluto. And that's also what you're kind of feeling it shake up. And Scorpio is the most intense zodiac of them all. And it is really like, woo! It's really deep. It's really like if I was to, I don't even, Scorpio is so deep. That's why it's ruled by Pluto, the king of the underworld. Okay. And so I think that the most intense day of the week is actually the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Leading up to it, I think is pretty peaceful. And even afterwards, I think will be fairly relaxed. And, with the basket, you can see kind of a basket here on Sunday, and you can see that the moon is opposite Venus and Uranus there. They're in opposition there. And that would just make me think about there could be some changes, that you could have some emotional, ooh, I don't know if I can handle this. Like you might see or feel the change coming with Uranus going into Gemini. You might sort of foresee something that's coming. It will be more intense for anyone that has anything at 29 degrees Taurus or 0 degrees
Absolutely.
Gemini.
Yeah.
It will be particularly intense for you, as well as anyone with 0 degrees Scorpio.
Oh wow.
Or 1 or 0, sorry, 29 degrees Scorpio. So no, not that bad. Or 0 degrees Sagittarius. Right. So sorry, I did that backwards. But anything that's opposite, it will be particularly intense if you have something in those signs. So that's Sagittarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and Gemini will be the most affected. Okay. And on Sunday, this is really going to talk about taking care of us at this point. So this is like our recovery spot. The weekend is really good. Sunday is particularly good. A basket normally kind of holds the energy or gives you good support for that emotional discourse, which is that red line there in the basket that you can see. And that's kind of like the, sorry, you guys didn't see the basket. There it is. And so you can see that red line across a thing like that. And the bottom basket part is sort of like positive things that will easily come together. So you'll have a good support system. You'll have, you might sense the changes coming, but you'll be pretty sure of the direction that you're going. You'll have a good idea of what you do next and how to navigate it. So I think everything's going to be okay. I don't think, we're going to have a nuclear war yet. I do not think that's going to happen just quite yet. I can assure you of that, at least. I hope not. According to Christopher Renstrom, who talked about this, I've listened to it twice now, and I can't quite catch why that ancient astrologer he was talking about predicted the 8 degrees. Did you hear that? Why he said that? Why it was 8 degrees?
It was 8 degrees and 55 seconds. 9 degrees in Gemini is a very triggering. Oh man,
for the United States in particular.
Yeah, I think it's because of the United States chart, and then of course, there's just all kinds of things that we've.
So
try not to get too many rabbit
The thing is that, remember I said Uranus is going to be in the sign for 9 years. So that if it's going to happen, it would probably happen. I looked, Uranus will be at that degree in 2027. Okay. So it could actually arrive there in 2026, but it won't get there until then. Right now it's going to go back and forth between Taurus and Gemini, the conservative and progressive. And that's what we're going to continue more of the same story to some degree, but I think there's going to be progress as Uranus next week when Uranus gets over there. I think we're going to see more progress in the gender revolution. So, all right, you guys, so hang in there. with relationships, Uranus rules Aquarius. So if you have Aquarius placements, you should be paying attention to this. Uranus is a very strong planet and it moves very slowly. And it does unpack things slowly. It doesn't always, sometimes it's a surprise, okay? But it will kind of unpack it for you sort of slowly, if that makes sense. It will kind of be like first and then this, okay? So don't be surprised if it kind of happens in levels, but it's probably going to be about money, relationships, or a mixture of the two for you, okay? So hopefully you'll be able to navigate it to the best of your ability. Don't resist change. Just accept change. Just walk into change. You know, I try to stay open to change always and try to listen and stay on point for change. And I think that's the best thing to, and I have a lot of Uranus transits because Uranus is at 0 degrees on my ascendant. So every time a planet changes signs, it's in a conversation with Uranus for me. Okay. And it's a very strong placement and it's very loud. So if anyone had some experience on how to navigate Uranus, that's going to be me, and I'm going to tell you. Just go with the change. So, and I think that's pretty much everything. And Bright Hawk, we wanted to talk about our moon series. If you're not following Psychic Insights or Divine Androgen Facebook page, make sure you catch it because we put together a moon series. It's called Feed Your Moon because we're always talking about self-care here on Rainbow Soul. And I want you to make sure you catch those posts. They are particularly about, like, if you have a Cancer moon, do this. If you have a Pisces moon, do this. And if you don't know your moon sign, you can easily get that at my website. You can easily get 50% off and get the beginner's guide to your astrology chart. And you'll quickly find out where your moon sign is. It's not that hard to find out. And once you get that, then what you can do is you find the post with your sign, and I'm making it as an album on the Psychic Insights and Divine Androgen page. So just look at the albums and you should see one that says Astrology Wisdom and it says Moon Series or something. So then you can take a look at that moon sign because I wanted to help you guys and I just thought that it's a really great thing. I've just gotten it started and every couple of days is another sign. So we should be done in the next week or so. So hopefully you can catch your moon sign, the moon post, which I think it's a really great series.
It's a great way to begin to really understand astrology more deeply because the moon changes signs every few days. So it's very easy to, digest a new sign every few days and get a little deeper and understand it a little more. That's what many astrologers recommend. It's definitely what I did, and I really did start to understand all 12 signs of the zodiac once I followed the moon over and over and over, So, yeah.
Yeah, and so the moon is the moon series. It should say Feed Your Moon or something like that on it. Has great Leo posted today, I think, on Divine Androgen. So, keep an eye out for your moon. Chelsea, I think Divine Androgen already has Taurus moon. Okay. So I'm going to pull 3 cards now for us. Oh, yeah. I forgot. I got to do the horoscopes. Bright Hawk reminded me. Okay. So we're going to do a horoscope for everybody.
And then we'll do the tarot.
Yeah, I already have it set up. I have it right here.
But you guys have really been very positive about knowing what does this week mean exactly to me. And if you know your sun, moon, and rising, when Hollis goes through each sign, you'll know what it means to you. Why your sun, moon, and rising? Get that little guide and it'll explain. Those are your big 3. And it'll help you sort of the sun, you're forward facing in the world, you're rising, what you're really growing into and your moon, how you feel about it. So we'll start off with Aries. And what are we focusing on, Hollis?
We're going to look at the 4th of July because, it's not just about what might happen in, with our country. God knows what's going to happen for that. But, I'm sure it'll be a surprise, Uranus. And, I think what we will really see, we'll be going through this. This is for Friday, July the 4th. And I just want to say that this will be, Venus will just enter Gemini on that day, Aries, and this is going to probably be about money for you. Aries, this is about the money. It's about the Benjamins. It's about how you pay for things, what you spend your money on, or how you make money. So this will be very important for you, Aries, of course. And Aries, you're already going through all kinds of changes. All kinds of things are already going on for you with Saturn and Neptune moving through Aries. Whew, and Chiron's on its way out, and I'm sure you'll be happy to get rid of that one. And so, Aries, you've been really struggling anyway with lots of personal changes, lots of personal shifts, especially after the nodes in the last couple of years. It hasn't been easy for you, Aries. And what I'm going to say is that with this, though, I think you might have some surprises around money, how you make money, how you spend money. Okay. So keep in mind there, you're going to be A-okay. And remember, Uranus always has your best interest in mind. Okay. And now as we work on Taurus, this is for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This will be very, very much about your identity, Taurus. Grab a hold there. Be ready for your identity shift. You got a lot going on, Taurus. Uranus has been in your sign for a long time, and it is rearing up to leave. And when it leaves, it's going to leave you with something. So hopefully you're ready for those changes. You've listened to what Uranus has told you, and you're just going to follow through with those changes. Don't give up on the changes. Don't let them go. Don't ignore them. Don't dismiss them. Don't try to avoid them. It's really not a good idea. Just embrace the changes, Taurus. You can do this. I assure you, run for the red cloth, okay? I know you got that bullheaded a little bit sometimes. We got to really shake that red cloth. You're going to see that red cloth, Taurus, and I think you might find yourself delightfully surprised. Okay? All right, so next one is going to be Gemini. Gemini, this is for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Well, Gemini, if you've been trying to make some changes in the department of maybe like psychic abilities or the unseen or connecting with the other side or anything like that, that's going to come on. Also, any kind of connections with hospitals or institutions in which you that are kind of invisible or unseen. This house deals with the unseen. It deals with things that you didn't see coming. Okay, and for Gemini, that's pretty unusual because you're pretty intellectual and you're good at thinking things through. Now, while you didn't see this coming, I assure you that it will pay off. It will put you on the right path. It will help you find what you need to find. But Gemini, just be prepared that something could come out of nowhere, literally, more than it does for everyone else, and it will literally be something you totally didn't expect. It will be the unseen. All right. And then we'll be moving on to Cancer. This is for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Now, Cancer, be aware that you also may have it a little bit also in that house, but I feel like this is going to have more to do with relationships for you, Cancer. Now, you have Jupiter in Cancer right now, so you're probably having a lot of feelings about being patriotic or how your home is or how important your home is to you. And those are the important kinds of feelings that you're going to be feeling right now. And it's going to be feeling really good. And the thing is that there could be some surprises around the people. Maybe somebody comes out of nowhere doing something or offering something, and it could be definitely some sort of relationship thing. Okay. So with Venus and Uranus conjunct, they're really going to speak to something to do with a relationship, probably for you, probably someone that greatly influences you. Okay, Cancer? And that's for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And now for Leo, this is for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Leo, this is going to have everything to do with your work, with your boss, with people that you look up to, that you work with, coworkers, those kinds of people, the people that influence you in work somehow. Okay. And this is very much going to have everything to do with maybe higher learning. Like there could be some good things coming together about maybe going to school, or maybe, you know, getting a promotion if you get this education type of deal, something like that. Leo, you know, keep your mind open for this. Keep your mind open for how you can make your life better as far as like career goes, especially your influence at work and things like that. Okay. So really pay attention to your bosses. That's where the surprise is coming in. It probably will be about relationships for you, but it's going to probably come through in the like work department. Okay, Leo? And so for that's Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It could also be friends. Could also be friends there, Leo. Okay. Leo does have a lot of good friends, so I just wanted to point that out, because Leo could absolutely, like, a good friend could like recommend you for something really great, like a great job or something that you make some extra money in or something like that. Okay. And now this is for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Virgo, this has everything to do with work. There could be some surprising money that comes in. There could be some surprising relationships that happen that will be particularly very important to you. Pay attention to those relationships and do your best to maintain them to the best of your ability. I know you will, Virgo. You're very thorough and detail oriented, and I know that you will find a way to make this relationship work for you in work. It could also bring a little money in for work, which would be great. And Virgo right now with Mars, you're taking lots of practical action. You're ready to go. You're ready to move forward. And that's exactly what this Uranus and Venus conjunct on the 4th of July at the top of your sky there. That's exactly what that's about. This is going to have everything to do with your work in the world and the practical sort of action that you'll be taking in regards to that. So good luck. I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty positive for you on the 4th of July. It could just be that, you know, not that the work comes in on the 4th of July, but maybe it comes in on the 3rd, or maybe you get paid the next day or something like that. Okay. But it could also be some surprises. All right. And now Virgo, then we're going to move into Libra. This is for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Libra, this has everything to do with higher learning, legalities. This could be your legal world. You could get a surprise. Maybe somebody finally pays you for something they owed you or something like that. You know, okay, Libra. Finally, those relationships are going to come in. There's probably going to be some relationship involved just because it's you, Libra, and you rule relationships, and you have a lot of those, right? And so collaboration and things like that are very important. And, you know, and with Venus over in the 9th house of higher learning, this tells me about school or legalities or just learning something new. You don't have to necessarily go to like traditional college, but you could like take a class or something, or you could have a surprise about something that's coming up for you, especially something that's going to expand your consciousness, something that's going to raise your consciousness. If you've been working on like doing like shadow work or anything like that, like spiritual awakenings, this is when it's going to happen. 4th of July, don't be surprised to be out there watching the fireworks with people you love and having a major spiritual awakening. I'm serious. Libra's going to have a great time. Libra's going to have a great time with this. I think it's going to be surprising, yes, but I also think that it's going to be good for you. It's going to be in a positive way, and it's going to bring great change for you. Okay? Don't be afraid of it. Just embrace the change. All right, Libra, you're pretty good with that. All right, so next is Scorpio. This is for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Scorpio, Funny thing is it looks like Uranus and Venus are going to be in your house. You're the 8th house, the house you rule, which is shadow. Okay. Scorpio, don't be surprised if your shadow or something about other people's money comes to bite you in the ass, or maybe it comes together easily, maybe it works out in a good way. Maybe, but be open to change, be open to finding a new way, or maybe you get a great astrology reading with me and I help you figure out how to make more money. Because the 8th house rules, well, it rules your shadow. It also rules astrology, tarot reading, mediumship, the occult, all of those kinds of things. So I think that this could be a time that money is maybe coming in for you if you're doing that kind of work in the world. And then also it could also, like, this is July the 4th. So, there could be some awarenesses of some things, particularly with other people's money. So it could be that other people, somehow you get money from other people. So this could be like your spouse, or it could be like, somebody you work with, or a partner, or literally someone could decide to like invest in you or something like that. Okay. It also would have to do with like inheritances and things like that. Okay. And with Venus, it could have a lot to do with relationships. And since it's you, Scorpio, I'm going to say this, could absolutely have to do with sex, particularly kinky sex. And because that's what the 8th house rules. It pretty much rules everything we don't want to talk about. That's why usually the key words for that house are sex, death, and taxes. So it's all the things you don't want to talk about. Okay. And so that's the 8th house, and Venus and Uranus will be there for you. Okay. It will be in your 8th house, which is the house you rule, Scorpio. I'm sure whatever it is will be incredibly deep and incredibly intense. But it could be intensely good. Okay. And
time to get a reading, y'all.
Yeah, it would be a great time to get a reading. If you don't know what your next 6 months is going to look like, and I haven't given you dates, come get a reading with me and I will give you dates to watch for. Okay. And now this is for Sagittarius this week, especially the 4th of July. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising. This is very much going to be affecting your day-to-day life. What is going to be changing in your day-to-day life? How are you going to be shifting what you do each day, your work, or just the way your days look? Somehow something must shift. It will come together very easily. But you will be able to manage it, and I think it will be in a good way. I think it will help with money or finances, and it could also help with your health, particularly if you need to do more like self-love or self-care. Maybe you'll surprise yourself and do something really great for yourself on the 4th of July, and you'll be like, "Hey, I think I got this," and something like that. So don't be, it's a great time to start some new things for you, Sagittarius, like, start a new thing where you're taking care of yourself, or maybe you're doing the moon thing, right? Maybe you're taking a look at the moons and how to feed your moon. So that's for Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising. Okay. And then we're going to Capricorn. This is for Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising. This is going to have everything to do with your creativity, or your, your creativity, your kids, your romantic relationships. Capricorn, this is going to be a surprise for you. I think you're going to have a big surprise with, could be with romantic relationships. Maybe on the 4th of July, you and your lover do something beautiful, or your lover surprises you with something. 4th of July could also be a great day for money or finances to come through your creativity. So if there's something that you do creatively, Capricorn, that would be a great day for things to come through, even after that, throughout the weekend, like, Saturday, Sunday as well. So, but I think you're going to find a great blessing on that day, and maybe a truth will truly be revealed. Okay. And that's on the 4th of July. And that's for Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising. And now this is for Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising. Now let me just say, it's going to be powerful for you because Uranus rules Aquarius. Okay. And so you're going to feel something. So if you're feeling something that you can't put your finger on, it will probably happen between the July 4th and July the 7th. You'll have some awareness of what, if you don't have a warning, you'll probably figure out what it could be during that time. There will be a big reveal, a big like aha or whoa, I'm pretty sure it's going to be. Okay. And it will probably be around your house, Aquarius. So if something surprising could happen around your house, your home, if you're selling a home, maybe you get more than you thought you would. If maybe your house is worth more than you thought it was. And so there could be some sort of surprise like that. It will definitely have to do with your home or your family of origin. So this could be also your parents. So Aquarius, just hang in there. No matter what it is, it will probably be a relief that's putting you on the right path, because I worry about that because Pluto is also retrograde in your sign. So, if you're waiting for someone to pass, and it would be a relief if they did, that could happen. Okay. Just because Uranus sometimes plays a role in death. And, if somebody's already passed, like they're sick or something, and you're like, oh man, this is hard to watch them suffer, you might find some relief with that. Around the 4th of July. That could be good news for some people. It's not easy to watch that happen, right?
100%.
And so now with a Pisces sun, moon, and rising. And, just for your information, I do little like death chart type of things where if someone's on hospice, I can look at their chart and give you an idea of when they might pass. And this could be very helpful for death midwives or a family member that is just feeling like they have to know when that will be. I can try to help you figure out when that will be. Okay. Now for Pisces, this is for Pisces sun, moon, and rising. This is in the 3rd house for you. So this is very much about community and siblings and communication. It's very much like, there could be some big surprises about your community. Maybe there's a huge protest and you're like, whoa, check it out. Or I can't believe so-and-so came to the protest. Or I can't believe how big the protest was. Okay. Don't be surprised if the protest is like off the charts. Okay, if we break more records with this protest, okay? Like I would not be surprised at all. And Pisces, for you, it could have big meaning, okay? So this is going to be about your community or your communication. Could also be about your siblings if you have them. And it would very much bring in some sort of surprising thing, maybe particularly with a female relation or somebody like that. Okay, so Pisces, just keep in mind it's probably going to be a surprise. It could have to do with money, but I think it probably more to do with relationships for you. Okay, Pisces. So good luck, because you have Mars going on right now in your house of relationships, and you got a lot going on, Pisces, right now. So with the North Node in Pisces, I feel like you're probably doing a lot of soul work. And Uranus is just trying to make sure you're on the right track. So just listen to Uranus, listen to the changes it wants to give you, and you'll be doing great. Okay. Okay. It seems like I'm not getting very many comments in Facebook. So if you're commenting in Facebook and I'm not saying anything, it's probably because I'm not seeing it. Brianna in the group.
Oh, there we are.
Brianna in the group said house is still on the market. Gosh, I hope so. Brianna, I'd be interested to find out. And you're doing end of life care currently. See? Yeah. And you don't want to leave before he goes. So you can see why that death astrology could be really helpful. So, and Samantha said, things are looking weird for me. 27 degrees Scorpio. I have Pluto and pending this Uranus and Gemini transition in my 8th house. Whew, I totally get it, Samantha.
Wow.
Yeah, Uranus is entering my 8th house too. Yes, it can kind of feel a little scary, but just remember Uranus is trying to put you on the right track. As long as you just keep remembering that, I feel like that's like the best thing you can do. It's the best way that you can really navigate this. Okay. And just checking over here, and Melissa said she's Scorpio. So, just hang in there, Scorpios. 8th house could be a little bit on the intense side, but I think you guys will be okay. All right. And yeah, I'm still not getting any comments from like YouTube or Facebook or anything. So,
Weird.
But I'm getting plenty in the group and plenty.
Thanks so much for your comments. It's really fun to interact with you and, hopefully make it even more meaningful for you.
Right.
What does this mean to me?
All right. So
All right. So let's see what the Tarot has to say, because it always is such a fascinating reflection of the week.
Yep. Exactly.
And a valuable part of our podcast. So I always love seeing what the cards are going to say.
Oh, yep. I was going to go to our live broadcast on Divine Androgen and see if anyone commented anything, but
so Hollis does a 3-card spread, one for the past, one for the present, and one for the future. And here we go.
Good. So let's see.
Well, it looks like we've frozen.
Yep. Okay. All right. Great. So I'm just going to pull these 3 cards for you today. I'm going to hold them up to the screen so you can see them. This is the Love is Love or Pride deck. And each one of these cards is done by a different LGBTQ artist. So the first card is this one, which is actually the it's the 6 of Cups. So hopefully you can see it there. And the 6 of Cups is very much about okay, Chelsea says I'm here on YouTube. Okay, it's not frozen. That's good to know. So this is a 6 of Cups. This is very much about the gifts that you've given yourself. What kind of treats have you given yourself? What kinds of things have you done to take care of yourself? This is about self-care. This is about celebration and being in the warmth of the summer. This is very much about emotional gratification and things like that. So this is very much about the gifts you give yourself, okay? And the self-care. And now the King of Cups is I'm noticing that all three cards are cups. So we're going to have an emotional week. Okay. And with Venus around, I'm not surprised. Okay. And so with the 6 of Cups, that's very much about treats we've given ourselves in the past or self-care and things that we've done well for ourselves. And this is the King of Cups. And you can see this guy's kind of underwater, and you can kind of see the boat is kind of like slowly moving through his hair and water there, right? And that's because this is his thoughts. This is about his thoughts and how his emotions affect his thoughts, and his thoughts affect his emotions. And this is about the tie between those two things, thoughts and emotions. And so this is very much meant to be reflective in that regards. So be sure of how you're thinking about things. And that's really how change works, frankly. Most of the time, if you're resisting change, it's just the way you're thinking about it. And you just got to think about it a little bit differently. Change your thinking, change your ways.
That's it.
All right. And then this is the 10 of Cups, because this is to reassure you that as, if you do have relationship things or whatever's meant to happen, it will come around in a good way. This is like a pride celebration, right? So this is a really great card. This is about, so if you are navigating some relationship things or something like that, this is the 10 of Cups, but you can see here that this is a celebratory card. This is the great things that we have. And this is about all of us coming together in a good way. This is about celebration. So I'm pretty sure what's happening here is the universe is reminding you of how to take care of yourself, and don't forget those little self-care things that you do. And as you're going on, remember that your thoughts and your emotions are all connected to each other. So hang in there with that, okay? And stay present with that and pay attention to what you're thinking, because that will help channel change. And remember that change, that progress, because this is very Uranian. This is so Uranian. That progress will lead us to great places. And that's exactly what this is about. This is celebratory. This is the birth of something new. This is something completely new coming into your world. And so stay open to a new path. Uranus wants to light you up and bring this beautiful thing your way.
Awesome reading. I'm always flabbergasted at how the tarot reflects the astrology and just adds that next little piece.
Right.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for all your great questions and helping us make it personal for you, I hope. And I hope you have a great week and a happy 4th of July. Happy birthday to all the Cancers out there. And thanks for listening to Rainbow Soul Astrology, where we try to be a bridge between you and the stars.
Bye-bye.
Have a great week.
Welcome to Rainbow Soul Astrology, a weekly podcast presented. Thanks so much for spending time with us this week. We hope you're feeling more connected to the cosmic energies in your life and what works for you. We send you lots of love on your journey. If you enjoyed today's show, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps reach more people who could use some cosmic guidance. Hey, and don't forget to share this episode with anyone who might need or want to hear it. And we love hearing from you, so drop us a comment and let us know what resonated most for you, or if you'd like to hear something new next week. Your questions and feedback make us better. Want to join us live? Subscribe! Catch us on Facebook and YouTube. And that's where you can ask real-time questions and be part of the Rainbow Soul Astrology community while it happens. Until next week, trust your intuition, follow your inner wisdom, and remember, the stars are always supporting your journey. Thanks for listening to Rainbow Soul Astrology, where we try to be a bridge between you and the stars.